I'm going to tell you this. Jordan Davis has been on track and has been pushed this offseason. The way he looks, it's absolutely amazing. The best he's ever looked being with the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about this defensive line. We're going to be talking about the newly acquired Bryce Huff and how much an impact he is going to make with this team. And can he replace HaasonReddick? How much will he do with, obviously, more of a workload on his shoulders? So I think that's going to be really interesting. So let's get into the video.
We better do that. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what's going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So we have some things to talk about here. So obviously every year, the Eagles have the Eagles Autism Foundation bike ride, which is an awesome thing to do. They make a lot of money and, help those in need. And it's for a really good cause. And it's always a great thing that they do it. Okay. Now it's, you never get too much news from these things, but I think one of the big things that we did see the other day was Jordan Davis. Like, man, can this guy play linebacker yet? You know what I mean? Jordan Davis, he looks so slim now. Even last offseason, we kind of said to ourselves, man, he's looking like he's in good shape. But he wasn't looking like this. This is the best he's ever looked. And I think, if you guys seen the offseason, besides, we're going to be getting into mini camp soon in June, Milton Williams has been working out with Jordan Davis, guys that are pushing each other, getting that partnership with somebody in the offseason, pushing each other all offseason. I think it's really paid off. There's nothing more than I want so bad right now as Jordan Davis to work out. So we don't, because really if Jordan Davis has a subpar year yet again, the Eagles are going to have to be looking for a DT in the future. It's gonna probably be into the next draft if that's the case. Because I'm telling you, the big problem with Jordan Davis coming out of Georgia was, unfortunately, if the Eagles can't get his weight under control, it's going to push back his explosiveness and it's going to affect his career and he'll become a bust pretty damn easily. I don't think he's a bust yet. Sometimes it's weird because some DTs in the league that are very good, sometimes these guys don't produce in 2-3 years. Sometimes it takes their whole rookie contract to really produce at a high level. Just depends on the player. But even last year being so surprised at Jordan Davis, just coming in as a run stuffer, like as much as we thought he was just going to do that, he became such a great pass rusher, getting pressure and just being as violent as he can be. So going back to his original position at nose, I think is going to be a very, it's going to be a great thing how Fangio is going to use him being at the nose. And I think obviously with, you have the other guys on the defensive line with Josh Sweat, some of the edge guys, Brandon Graham, and obviously having Jalen Carter on the team, adds more to your line here. Davis could be in the best shape of his life. Milton Williams is on a contract year. So there's a lot of decisions that are going to have to be made within the next couple of years. Or at least we'll know what the Eagles are doing after this year with Jordan Davis and obviously Milton Williams. But I'm proud of Jordan Davis for what he's done. Even look at old pictures of him. It's actually really scary of just like, he was, he hasn't, the one thing I'll say it's been bad with him is his motor's not good. Like he gets tired out way too easily. And then the second half of the season, Jordan Davis last year just gave up. Okay. But we can't put all the blame on him. There's much blame to go around. Okay. I never single out a player from last year and what happened, especially defensively. Okay, nobody can make tackles. Nobody can make plays. Your defensive line's not hitting home because you're not using your linebackers in coverage right. You're not holding off. You're not getting coverage sacks. You're not. There's just no time. And there were some games where Jordan Davis, was piling. Even like the first Tampa Bay game last year, he was a menace. The Buffalo Bills game, chasing Josh Allen on the sideline. Like, you don't see guys at his size move that way. And I think the only thing that he really needs to just fix with himself is, he just needs to have better stamina. That's really it, because I think with that and obviously losing a little bit more weight, and being more lean can really increase his explosiveness fantastically. So I think that duo between him and Milton Williams have really been pushing each other all off season. It's been a fantastic thing to watch. I'm glad it's actually paying off, and I'm glad he's listening. He's not going off the beaten path. So praying to God. And I feel very good and positive about it, that he will have a fantastic year under Vic Fangio on that line, because, Fletcher Cox retired now. Like, Howie Roseman has discussed that he's putting a lot into building around his next young talent, the future of this team. And that's what you're supposed to do. Like, you can't build around older guys for a long time. You just can't, guys are going to retire, and, people are, players are going to have to take their place. So very proud of Jordan Davis and what he's become and what he's done. Now Bryce Huff is a whole different story now, and I'm actually really excited. If you watch the tape, I've watched nonstop tape on Bryce Huff, okay? And Bryce Huff getting paid at $17 million a year. This was pretty much Reddick going to the Jets, Bryce Huff coming to the Eagles, being more of a consistent, fit here, because Fangio even said at the press conference that he's going to use him in coverage as well. He's going to drop him back, okay, because he has some great athleticism. See, this guy's edge rush, too. His bend is really nice. I mean, he's got power, good hand placement. He's a menace. I mean, look what he did to us last year. You know what I mean? 43% of the snaps last year. This defensive line needs to hit home. I think obviously Josh Sweat had a down year last year because the rest of the team played like shit. Everybody. Milton Williams had a down year, and he was getting better every single year. Statistically, had a down year last year. Josh Sweat had a down year last year. So you got rid of one of your best pass rushers. So how you replace that right now? Obviously, Nolan Smith didn't have enough reps last year. They didn't put him into like the end of the season. Sean Desai was stupid. It's a first round pick. Why aren't you playing Nolan Smith more? So I know Nolan Smith will get more opportunity, whether they're going to throw him at outside linebacker at times, or they're going to have him drop in coverage as an edge rusher. Maybe he has to bulk up on some weight. Brandon Graham's here for 1 year till he retires on a rotational. Jalix Hunt is another one that I think is a big scheme fit. Jalix Hunt is a third-round pick. Like, you're expecting big things from Jalen Hunt. I'm expecting, I know he's a third-round pick, but I'm telling you, I'm expecting a lot of at least some good balance, at least in his edge rush, and I say his coverage will probably be a lot better, because athletically he's just really good at 6'4", 252 pounds, and moves really well for that size. So I'm just expecting more of him in coverage than I do as an edge rusher, but we'll see what happens. Bryce Huff making 17 a year, 43% of the snaps last year, 10 sacks. So I'm not going to be the guy that's like, if he doesn't get 10 sacks this year, he's not who he is. But I have a good feeling that he's going to do a lot better than we think he's going to, okay? Now, Vic Fangio was ranked, third in pressures last year. I think top 10 in QB hits last year. So his defensive line for Miami last year definitely hit home a lot last year. But you're playing some of your linebackers downhill. He's done that. And athletically, you have to be athletically sound when it comes to your secondary, because you're giving up like these big chunk plays when you're playing off-ball coverage. Your fast break tackles are going to be really what's important, getting the right guys for this scheme. And I really like Bryce Huff, and I hope this turns out to be one of the biggest steal signings at $17 million a year. Now, this year, not saying I don't care as much, but I think going into 25, or at least during the 25 season, by the end of next year, I think we're going to tell ourselves that Bryce Huff is a fantastic player. On the money he's getting, it's going to be a steal, a total steal. So, he was in a very heavy rotation, but that guy packs a punch, a lot of power, a lot of bend. I mean, watch tape on Bryce Huff. I feel really, really good about him going to the season, but I asked myself, is it enough? Haason Reddick hasn't signed his big contract he was supposed to get with the Jets. So I'm just sitting there like, it sucks in some ways, because you could, have him and him, but you weren't. If you're not going to pay Haason Reddick, obviously you have to go a different direction. That's what they did, and I'm perfectly fine with it. If Bryce Huff gets 10 sacks this year, yeah, I think you're perfectly fine. And especially if he can get, make plays in pass coverage, that's even better. You know what I mean? That's even better, because that's something that Haason Reddick cannot do from game to game. Sometimes Haason Reddick would not even get a sack or do anything for an entire month like he's a very streaky player. Like only gets like he'll get 0 sacks in September, 7 in October. You know what I mean? It's you can't have a player like that. And I get why statistically you want to keep a guy like that, but Bryce Huff is more productive for Vic Fangio wants him to do as a balance in obviously rushing the passer and being in coverage, making plays. And that's dropping these guys back is what, Fangio wants to do. And that's what they're going to do. So I'm very excited. Like I just say to myself, it's enough. Is Josh Sweat going to be enough on that other side? Is, Brandon Graham, the rotation is going to be enough. So I don't know. But I guess we're going to find out in the near future. This defense has to play somewhat. I don't think the Eagles are going to have the best secondary in the league, the number 1 defense, but I think they could be a top 5 defense this year. It might take a few weeks. It might take a little bit of, I just hope this offseason program is demanding. It's, and these are hard-nosed practices, and, we work our tails off because they need to be prepared. How the season ended last year is how it ended, and they have to start off on a really good note this year. So one of my favorite players I'm excited to look at look forward to is Bryce Huff, Jordan Davis. That whole defensive line really hitting home is going to be where it's going to matter the most, and I hope you guys agree on all of that. So I think Fangio's going to have these guys and good looks, and we'll be doing our thing as usual. But if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. Make sure you like the stream. Does help the channel out. Fantastic. I appreciate so much everybody, all the support all off season. If you guys haven't checked out the Philly Shakedown podcast merch, definitely check it out with new merch coming out soon. More coming soon. The Howie Roseman Big Pippin shirt is out as of right now. The Cooper DeJean Flying Frenchman t-shirt. Definitely check it out. And check out all of the Axeman 2 merch as well. We'll have a lot more stuff coming out. A lot more merch. Definitely check out. Link in the description below. And I appreciate it so much for everybody that has bought a shirt. We're sending a lot of stuff out this week. You guys have a fantastic day. And I will see you guys. Well, actually, before that, let me know what you guys think about this defensive line. Is it good enough? Do they need to add another piece like a Yannick Ngakoue? Do you think it's, or do you think we need to see what we have first, then kind of make a move if we have to? You guys let me know. All right. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.